Jay-Z is one of the most delusional rappers I've ever heard. So every few years, a versus conversation comes about and says who can be who in a versus. Recently, we had the Cash Money and No Limit versus, and I'm not gonna lie, it was okay, but I think it was only done well if you were there in person. Watching it on live and computer, it just kind of felt a little lackluster, and it just felt like a lot of old guys just kind of reliving their glory days, and it was just I don't know. The songs are great. They're always going to live out in history, but it doesn't translate well on screen. But regardless of that, people brought up the conversation. It's been going viral about who can Jay-Z verse in a battle. And Jay-Z comes down and says, nobody can beat me in a versus.
Alicia, when are we going to be able to give Hove his flowers on a versus stage?
Man, ain't nobody can stand on that stage with me. I ain't gonna lie, no disrespect. Everyone's amazing and done what they done. No one can stand on that stage with me. I'm just telling you guys the real. Like, it's not a shot. There's not a chance in hell that anyone can stand on that stage with me for I don't know how long it is. 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours.
Right.
This seems very strategical in Jay-Z. He's never going to admit that there's anybody close to him or better than him. He's always going to keep this 48 laws of power demeanor and tell him, don't ever acknowledge an enemy or, an antagonist. Always see yourself as above and never below. That kind of rhetoric. And while I respect that, and, it proves time and time again that he is a businessman, he's a businessman, not a businessman, all that kind of sentiment. And I just totally disagree with Jay-Z. Jay-Z to me is one of the most overrated rappers. I do respect his pen, his, ability to rhyme. It's just top tier. No one could ever take that away from him. But his albums and his creativity in terms of conceptualizing albums and songs, definitely lackluster. I've never been a fan of the drug dealing kind of era of rap music. Yeah, I can see some things like shine and, stand above the test of time. But a lot of Jay-Z records just feel like a lot of over talking from people from NYC and, being the hip hop originated from there. They feel like they have like some sense of authority to determine what is considered great hip hop. And to me, Jay-Z never really met that bar. I never listened to Jay-Z album and just kind of like, after I'm done with it and be like, whoa, I understand now. The only album that I felt like that from Jay-Z was his recent one, 444. That to me is Jay-Z's best record, which might be a little controversial, but I don't care. I think he had a lot of great subject matter. It was different. It was mature. The sound production was really great. Things prior to that was just him kind of like showing off that he can rap really well, but it never made me like lock into Jay-Z's world that he was building in his music. It just kind of felt like he was just, showing that he could ball, but he never closed out. He could have a 50, 40-point game, but he never wins the series. And to me, that's more important than you having a great performance here and there. And I always wonder, I'm like, when I ask myself, who does Jay-Z think cannot beat him? Well, he obviously thinks everybody. I think maybe only the top class can beat him, obviously because his rapping ability is top tier, so you can't just be some mediocre rapper beating Jay-Z's catalog. And then it got me thinking, okay, who are the artists? And who are the artists who are going to struggle? And then who are the artists that are just going to wash Jay-Z? Like, that he has no chance. Let's start off with the ones that are going to struggle. Lil Wayne. A lot of people throw Lil Wayne into this conversation. And I think Lil Wayne is in the same boat as Jay-Z in terms of rapping ability. He's top tier, but his subject matter in his albums definitely teeter off. And he definitely hasn't had the growth and progression like Jay-Z has in terms of like maturing over the years. Lil Wayne still seems like the same Lil Wayne that we met in 2008 with Carter 3. And I do think Lil Wayne has great 20 records that he can compete with Jay-Z. I think it's just more of an audience that's going to determine whether or not it's, who's the winner. Like if it's done in New York, it's Jay-Z. Actually, any artist that competes with Jay-Z in New York, it's an automatic Jay-Z win. Like that's just clear bias. There is no up for debate of whether or not Jay-Z is the king of New York. He's definitely for sure. Lil Wayne has a South, and then the West Coast, I think it would go more Lil Wayne. I feel like we heard a lot more Lil Wayne, especially in 2010s when he was collabing with Future, Drake. He has the feature list on pour. Like Jay-Z has a good feature list, like presentation, but Lil Wayne's is top tier. That's where he's really gonna catch up and beat Jay-Z. So I think that it's like a back and forth in terms of who could win. Then we have the artists that I think are gonna give them a good fight, but not struggle as much. It's gonna be a little bit Jay-Z's the underdog in the situation, but he could still pull it through depending on, you know, how he plays his cards. And that's Drake. I think Drake in the later years of his career, like recent years, has definitely been struggling. Like his last best song to me was during Scorpion era. Like obviously he had the rap battle with Kendrick, so maybe he could throw Family Ties, I guess, but that doesn't really work in a verses. But as far as his hits, if he's going just old school Drake, he's the favorite in this matchup, you know, because those songs, and maybe this is my bias showing, me growing up in that era, me being under the age of 27. I'm 26 right now, so that would be prime time listening to music at that time. I could see why Jay-Z would not get my vote in a lot of those matchups between his songs, like Best Star I Ever Had, Marvin's Room, Wu-Tang Forever, Tuscan Leather. Like these are songs that Jay-Z has good rapping ability. He can compete with Drake, but the production is just, it's gonna heavily weigh myself into the Drake's favor, especially when we get into Nothing Was the Same era views. Like Drake has diversity also. He doesn't just have just straight rap. He has pop hits that Jay-Z doesn't have. Like if we look at Jay-Z's catalog, I struggle to even make a 20 for Jay-Z. Like obviously a lot of people are gonna put his great rapping performances like Dead Presidents, Imaginary Players, things like that. But to me, those are great rap songs. They're not just great songs in general. They're not songs that I want to hear. Like I just don't, I don't want to say they're not classic, because they are for the genre, but like they don't, I don't think they make anybody fans. And actually, that's a crazy statement for say. I do think they make people fans of hip hop. I just think it's harder to make them a fan of hip hop using these songs versus like songs like Empire State of Mind or Big Papa. I mean not Big Papa, Big Pimpin' or Izzo. Like these three songs are like mass appeal kind of songs that Jay-Z has that obviously are in his 20, but the rest it's just like, ooh, like are we gonna go back to what? Suit and Tie with Justin Timberlake? I'm like, come on now. But then we have the artist that I think completely washes Jay-Z. He will never admit this because this artist is super controversial. He's never gonna say anything, like he's never gonna even mention this artist's name unless it's like in a very professional setting that he's explaining why he doesn't pick this artist or why he doesn't associate with him anymore. And that's obviously Ye. Yes, Kanye West completely washes Jay-Z. He was once under him in a roc-a-fella. He has great features with Jay-Z. He has a whole collab album with Jay-Z. But aside from that, Kanye has so many hits. So many hits that not only are in rap, but are diverse. He is just like Drake, but better. And this is where I think Jay-Z just has no chance. He doesn't. Like, there is not a song in Jay-Z's catalog that is like Stronger. That is like, well, maybe some people would argue that he has an I Wonder. Well, it doesn't matter. He doesn't have a Runaway. What is Jay-Z's Runaway for everybody? Dead Presidents? That's what I would think. I think that's his best rapping performance song, and that's on his debut, which is kind of crazy. But he doesn't have a Runaway. He doesn't have any production. So Kanye should have at least a few more points for just the fact that he's producing a lot of his early records. He doesn't have it Through the Wire. And I know I'm just kind of showing my bias with this by saying he doesn't have these type of songs, but I just never had an emotional tie to Jay-Z's music like that to make me think of like, oh, what song? Like, Niggas in Paris is my favorite Jay-Z song. And I'm talking about his verse. Like, Kanye's verse is cool now, but it was very Kanye-ish, so it wasn't really like anything new for me. But Jay-Z, I was like, damn, like Michael, Tyson, Jordan, Game 6, like that was iconic. So Jay-Z and this whole versus battle thing, it's gonna keep coming up into circulation in terms of virality every few years until Jay-Z ends up doing a verse. But we all know the artist who could beat him. He'll just never admit it because, you know, it's bad for PR. It's bad publicity to say that I would lose. You know, have you ever heard Mike Tyson say they would lose Muhammad Ali? The only time they say they're gonna lose is out of respect. I can see Mike Tyson saying he would lose to Muhammad Ali because he wouldn't want to like knock him out because he has a lot of respect for him. I don't know if he ever said that. I just assume that that's Mike Tyson's thinking because whatever. But the point is, Jay-Z he's smart. He's not stupid for sure. He's smart. So he knows what to say, you know, to keep, you know, his image. So you guys let me know, do you guys think Kanye or Drake or Lil Wayne can beat Jay-Z in a versus, or do you think nobody can beat Jay-Z in a versus battle?